So much happening in the world of hockey, and we're going to bring it to you again in another episode of the Hockey Hour. Jase Gabriel here with you, and as always, alongside me, Alla's mum, former hockey-roo, Jane Claxton. Welcome, Jane.
Thank you, Jase. Yes, another splendid weekend on the hockey field at Clubland, and then World Cup started. So I'm in bliss.
Is some wonderful times at the moment for us, but we're about to go into what is probably going to be the twilight game. So anytime you play Belgium or the Netherlands, of course, that's going to be twilight, which is, if you're a diehard, either 2:30 a.m. or 12 a.m. And of course, the finals will be at those times too. So I'm not sure if I'm ready just yet to get up early, but I'll consider it for
I'll be there. I'll be there with Alla in tow, just having some, I don't know, whatever meal of the day for that hour is called for her, but I'll be awake.
Top up.
Yeah.
As always, if you haven't caught any of our previous episodes, you can check them out wherever you catch your podcasts, or you can check out the YouTube video if you would love to see our visuals and our facial reactions. But of course, we are in episode, I don't know what episode we are actually, maybe 40 something, I think, total, but we're getting on in the year because we're coming up to finals. But I thought I'd throw a shout out. Appreciate the comment on our little clip on Instagram to Devo, the man who I reckon owns the best celebration in international hockey ever. If you haven't seen it, make sure you can actually check it out. I think on Fremantle Coburn's Instagram page. I think they posted it as a throwback to the 2014 World Cup. But he made a great point. We were talking about obviously travel for the Thunder Six, but we completely missed that there are a lot of players that live in Perth and travel as well every week. Regardless, unless their team is playing in Perth, I should say, against the Thunder Six, they travel every week. So really, the Thunder Six travel is null and void. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, true. I did participate in that travel last year and chose I would say behind Canberra, the hardest location to get to from Perth, which is Tasmania. So yes, but self-inflicted, I can't complain.
Yes, Canberra's been found to be the difficult one if you're a Tasmanian as of last year. That was the infamous no men's game, and a very.
I think it's harder because you have to get a connecting flight. There's no direct flights as well, so that's also a nightmare.
And it's our capital. Who would have thought? But we appreciate the feedback. He makes a very good point. And essentially, a lot of players do travel. I want to say the Melbourne players don't, because they don't like staying in Perth. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. I'm pretty sure they all.
I know there's definitely a few. It wouldn't just be Victorian. I reckon there's definitely South Australians that go back home for the whole period. Definitely some Queenslanders. So there's the option of going back home if you are living in WA in the national program. So yes, some of it's by choice that you're choosing to stay in Perth, but also some people don't have a home to go back to. Like my parents decided to move to WA. So
well, maybe we should get Devo on. I'd be keen to hear his thoughts. Maybe we can touch base. We might have to run a poll. Maybe let's run a poll and let's get Tim Deven on the show and chat to him about the Kookaburras Hockey Roos, his thoughts. Let's put up a poll. Let's see what we think. But appreciate his feedback. Let's get straight into the news, Jane. Maybe let's start with the Masters World Cups, and they've been continuing on in Braschaat, Belgium, and Breda in Netherlands. So. We won't go through all of them because there's about 10 teams that were away, including the second teams, I think is maybe the best way to explain them. But we did have some teams make finals.
Yeah, definitely. There is a huge amount of teams on this list, and it gives me great pleasure to see that. We've had a lot, obviously, make finals, win gold medals. I think from 55s all the way through to 80s, which just wrapped up, which unfortunately my dad couldn't attend because of the birth of a certain child in the family. But yeah, 55s were in the final, and they defeated Argentina 1-1. And 3-1 in a shootout. And then 65s won against England, also in a shootout. So a lot of these are going to shootout. 70s also won to England in a shootout, I think. And then 60s men also were in the final but defeated by England 2-1. So we obviously have this rivalry against England in the Masters. And then also, obviously, as I mentioned before, the 65s came third place, and they were defeated by the Netherlands. And then in the 70s, they finished second again to England and lost 0-1 in the final. And the 75s men, which I know I have to mention because this is the team my dad was going to coach, they defeated Germany 4-0 in their final. So well done to Jeff Waite, the substitute coach for my dad. He was pretty stoked. He gave me a blow-by-blow just only moments ago. And then the men's over 80s, which would have been my dad's team, they came third place. So obviously in my dad's eyes, that would have been improved if he were in attendance. But yeah, I think impressive performances across the board. We send away a lot of obviously Masters teams, and I think it's pretty awesome that so many people play so far on into their careers with hockey, at least.
Absolutely. And the weather looks glorious over in Belgium. And so what better way to escape? Well, it was pretty good over the weekend here, but it's been horrible, wet and wild and windy today. So what a great way to escape.
Most definitely. I think it was, though, raining the other day during one of the World Cup games.
Oh,
must have been in Holland. Yeah. Avid watching here because I have nothing else to do.
We had our Hockey Australia Country Championships wrap up over the weekend as well, and our WA country teams had a bit of a rough time of it, unfortunately. Round 4 saw both teams defeated by Queensland 3-0 and 3-1. Day 6, the WA women drew with the Australian Defence Force 3-3, and the men were defeated by the Australian Defence Force 3-2. They both ended up playing in the 5th, 6th playoffs, and the men defeated South Australia 7-2, finishing 5th, and the women were defeated by the Australian Defence Force in a rematch, 3-0. So they finished 6th. So congratulations to everyone who headed over to Bendigo in Victoria and represented WA in our country teams for the Hockey Australia Country Championships. We get back to international level, Jane, and the Pro League schedule has been revealed for 2026-27.
Yeah, pretty exciting, I think. I was even just considering maybe I'll be attending in February because I'll still be on mat leave. But, it will begin in Argentina on the 8th of December, which it always does. Indian women's and the France men's national teams will rejoin the competition after earning promotion through the FIH Nations Cup. That happened soon after the European Pro League leg, I believe. And then the Hockeyroos and Kookaburras, they won't start their matches until 2027, and that will be on the Gold Coast from the 13th to the 21st of February. So book your tickets now. The Gold Coast stage will feature obviously the Hockeyroos, Kookaburras, Belgium, China for the women, France for the men, and Netherlands for both men and women. And then the Hockeyroos will travel to Wavre, where they are now, or where the men are. Belgium for the next stage, which is from the 12th to 27th of June, compete against Belgium, Argentina, China, Great Britain, India, and Spain. But that doesn't really make sense because we already played China in the Gold Coast.
Interesting. Maybe they're just heading
there.
They might be just there as well. We might not be.
Maybe they're just there. Yeah, very true, very true. Anyway, then the last stages for the Hockeyroos and Kookaburras will be in Germany from the 12th to the 27th of June. So I assume they go from Wavre to Germany in that same time period. And I believe Germany, China, Great Britain, India, and France will be there. So they must be playing just Germany and potentially no one else when they go there, because all of those others have potentially played beforehand, but who knows? Yeah, well, it's I think the Gold Coast stages are going to be electric here. I mean, you've got a rematch of Tokyo final with the Kookaburras and Belgium, and then having the Dutch here. I think we rarely get both teams here. But to get them here in one go is going to be unreal. So book time now and book flights now to get over to the Gold Coast between the 13th and the 21st of February, because that's going to be some super exciting hockey after potential World Cup winners in that space. So, or within those teams. So that's going to be unreal. But we get to effectively the biggest news going in world hockey at the moment. Of course, the World Cup is underway in Belgium and Netherlands. Unfortunate news for the Hockeyroos just before the tournament started. Olivia Downs was ruled out with a hamstring injury, so Michaela Jones was called into the squad as her replacement. You can, of course, catch all of the Hockeyroos and Kookaburras games live and free on 7+. There are replays the following morning for each match at 8:30 Perth time, which is great if you don't unfortunately get the 12 a.m. game, which is coming up. But alternatively, if you would like to watch all games, you can download the Watch Hockey app and pay a small fee of $65. To get access. But you get access to all of the games.
Correct.
As my parents keep telling me how great of value it is.
And if you've been hiding under a rock over the weekend, you would of course know the Hockeyroos defeated Japan 2-0 with Claire Colwell scoring both goals. And the Kookaburras last night defeated Ireland 3-1. Joel Rintala with a double, Blake Govers with a single. We will talk more about the World Cup later in the show. We'll give you our thoughts on some of the games that have happened so far and some of the games to come and where we think everything is sitting. But let's, maybe we mention now, I inadvertently forgot to mention it last week, but there is a little tipping site for the World Cup. Now, you are a tiny bit late, but I recommend if you're keen to tip, get on to play70.com. It is run by and created by a very well-known Australian hockey player who has asked to remain nameless. But it is very easy to use. It is basically signing up. Entry is free. You can join I think there's the Griffin competition or a Y1 competition on there. It's essentially each round, pick the winner of every match. A draw is available where the format allows, of course, during these round stages. One match per round is the featured match. You can also call its winning margin. That's the tiebreaker, effectively. Each game locks at its own start time. Miss one, and I guess you can still tip the rest. You can edit any pick until the game locks. Both men and women's tournaments running, so tip either or both. You're doing it at the moment, Jane.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to set up. You can make your own little competition. So naturally we have the Claxton competition going on because that's the only competitive outlet I now have. And I'm not doing great. But yeah, you kind of make your own little competition, whether it's in your family group, your club hockey team, your friendship group, and yeah, you just tip like you normally would. It's no money involved, thank God, but you can set a prize for the winner of your group, which for us is you get your dinner bought for you. Yeah, and I think it's a great way to kind of engage in the World Cup and have a bit of high stakes to it. And to pick a draw is honestly, I think, probably the biggest of the entire tipping competition, which I did pick a draw for Chile versus Japan, and I haven't seen the updated score since I came on to this podcast. So I'm really hoping that's going to pull through, because I need a win to get off the bottom.
Do you want to know?
Yes, go.
Japan defeated Chile 3-0. I didn't see that coming.
That's okay. I think no one in my family picked Japan to win. So
well, yeah, we'll talk about that, because that's a massive result for the Hockeyroos. But let's talk about it later in the show. But play70, all of those words.com. Get on. It's not too late to join. You can jump on and tip the rest of the tournaments and join a competition where you can win some prizes, or you can create your own. But definitely worth jumping on. I think it's a really cool and idea, and a different style of the traditional tipping format. Let's get to the mailbag, Jane. A couple of questions this week. Our great mate, Rowan.Ramesh21, hit us up on Instagram and wants to know, how would you set up a penalty corner attack? Now, you can, for me, there are so many ways you can do this. People are still playing around with different styles or different setups. But if the most common is to have two trappers, one on the nearest post, one on the furthest post, and you have your hitter or drag flicker on each of those trappers. And then you have either two people on the right if you're looking at the goal, and one on the left, or it can vary. But that's your traditional, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it always depends on the makeup of your team and what skill sets you have. Like, some teams don't have a lot of people that can have the hit, flick, slap kind of skill sets, and maybe they'll revert to more of the traditional single battery. And I think a double battery came about probably around London Olympics, I want to say. And it was mainly to kind of create doubt in the defensive team's mind about what battery it's going to, and especially if you have multiple flicking threats, the line you run as a first runner significantly changes depending on what battery it is. So I think that was the origin story of that. But yeah, like at club hockey, you definitely see a lot more single batteries, and maybe a double flicker setup. So one trapper and then two flickers, or a hitter, a flicker, or whatever combo at the top. And they do some fancy work, whether it's a long bunt to get away at the second flicker or what have you. So yeah, it really, I think, depends on the makeup of your team as to what best suits.
It's interesting the Kookaburras have gone back to the one trapper and the three shooting options are there. I have a feeling they'll chop and change depending on, I guess you're starting to look at what type of first runner the defending team has too, and how tight they run their lines and things like that. So the Kookaburras probably exploited it last night. Claire Colwell certainly did against Japan, with the Hockeyroos going through the runner effectively into the difficult spot for the keeper and the post player. So you will set up bits and pieces. You will often see teams shuffle to the right just before the corner to try and throw off. There's little bunts for drag flickers to try and get around the first runner. So yeah, it's the traditional is two, but I've seen people have three. There's teams three, isn't there?
Yeah, I remember once upon a time, even the Hockeyroos toyed with three, but it's so compressed at the top and it's almost pointless.
It's one of those things, penalty corners, you can get so creative with them, but you would use it 0.5% of the time.
Yeah, and it's very niche to each team. Like, if you've identified a particular weakness in the defense of a team, that's when your variations might come about. But I'm always a believer in get something on net, make a save have to happen, because by and large it's the shitty little misflicks or hits that end up going in anyway.
Yep, I certainly agree. Well, thanks, Rowan. I hope that answers your question. The second question is purely directed at you, Jane. Jane, what are your World Cup predictions? or what are some early takes based on what you've seen from the tournament so far? So let's take it as 2 questions. We'll leave the second one for later on. But what we asked the Adamson twins this when they were on just before you came back about their World Cup predictions. What's your 1, 2, and 3 for the men and women?
I think for the men, whilst I'm like such a dedicated Australian supporter, I think for the men, Belgium will end up on top, just based on their recent Pro League performances, their ability. They've got a lot of home games, obviously home crowd. You know, Netherlands is right around the corner from Belgium as well. I think they will probably top it out, and then they'll likely be versing Australia, unless Australia keep playing like they did last night in the second half in that final. And then the third spot, I think it could be an England-Germany final medal potentially, and maybe England winning it in the bronze medal match.
Yeah, interesting.
I did like them during the Pro League as well, and they've got that ability to come back from behind. But I think potentially those are the 4 for the men that will be in the mix. Yep. Women, I obviously think the Dutch are probably going to take it out. It's really hard to vote against them, even though I would like to. Who versus them will really vary. I think there's so much variance in the girls' side of things. Like I've seen a lot of predictions, like one prediction that China were going to beat the Dutch, and then you see them in the first game and they've drawn with India. And so I think it's so vastly different in the women's side of things. But who I'd like to see there are probably the likes of Belgium, us, and then potentially Germany as well, I think are the top 4 countries that I would hazard to guess will be in a medal match of some sort.
I like it. We talked about a player of the tournament. Are you in a position to, well, you've seen some of it already. So who would you pick, player of the tournament for men and women?
I think for the women, I think it'll always go to someone like a Yib Janssen, who scores a lot of goals, probably wins games for their team, naturally is a great field hockey player as well, unless there's like a standout performance. But I think based on her performance during Pro League and everything, and yes, they didn't slot as many of their, I think they had 20 short corners against Chile the other day. But I do think it's going to be someone from the Dutch team. And then for the men, I'm probably a bit more illiterate in other players outside of Australia for the men. So I wouldn't be able to honestly guess that one.
That's okay. Well, we've got your 1, 2, 3, 4. So I was with you with England in the men. I had them making the final and losing to Belgium. I hated it, and I still hate it. But I
hate it. It makes me feel sick. But
No, I love it. Well, thank you for your questions. Of course, if you want to hit us up, you can hit up Jane or I on our Instagrams, on our handles, or you can answer Hockey WAs, or you can email in, whatever you would like. Leave a comment. We're happy for your feedback, happy for your questions, and happy to try to answer them as best we can with our own opinion. But keep writing to us. We absolutely love it. All right, Jane, let's look at the TeamStar Premier League. There are 2 rounds to go, and there is so much happening. Let's start with the women. Go back to the game on Friday night that we called, and it was a 6-2 victory for UWA over Vic Park. Torva Sharwood hit a hat-trick. I realised that Vic Park were underwomaned. They didn't have Addie Gibbs in that game. So
I was trying to think about, I was like, when we stopped calling and I went home and I was chatting to someone about the scoreline, I was like, I don't remember Annie Gibbs being out there, but I was like, maybe she just didn't touch the ball, which would have been so uncharacteristic.
Yes, so a little bit underwoman for the Vic Park girls, but nonetheless, UWA, great victory. an important one for them in the context of the season. Probably the biggest result of the weekend, the YMCC train continues on for the women with a 2-1 victory over Westside Wolves. Shania Tonkin scoring in the first minute, and then Isabella Zaleski getting the chocolates with 5 minutes remaining in the game. That is huge for the 6th spot, and we'll get to that shortly. Your Reds girls held up their end of the bargain and won 3-2 over Wasps, with Abby Davies scoring the winner in the 48th minute. A 3-3 draw in the 60th minute between Fremantle Coburn and Melville, with Taylor Farden scoring. Unreal to come and to draw that game. I think we said that we weren't sure how that would go. And obviously this was before Michaela Jones was named, or that we knew that she was named. So that made the result interesting. Jenna McIntyre scoring in the 57th minute, thought she got it done for Fremantle Coburn, but Taylor Farden had other plans, and a 3-3 draw. So we'll touch on what that means. It was Finlay Rima's 50th game in Whitford's 5-0 loss to Hale. And another cricket score, unfortunately, for North Coast Raiders, with them going down 14-1. Ashley Jarvis with 4, and Delphina Guastavino with 5. So let's look at the ladder. Now, the ladder has Suburban Lions on top with 44 points, Wolves on 43. Hale still have the game in hand that they're currently winning against Reds. So theoretically, they should go to 44 points and equal top. A huge win for UWA gets them above Vic Park now by 2 points. So they go to 40 points. Vic Park on 5th, they're on 38 points. They're all locked into finals. No issue there. It's just wherever they all finish. So now this is where it becomes interesting. YMCC's victory keeps them on 28 points with a goal difference of 0. Fremantle Coburn are on 27 points with their draw over the weekend, but their goal difference is -11. And then there is your girls Aquinas. They are on 25 points with a goal difference of 3. Now, we have a look for the remaining games for this year. YMCC have UWA and Vic Park. 2 teams already in the finals, but they're the giant killers this year. That is I imagine not even a worry for them.
Yeah, as I said last week, I would like an investigation into Wolves tanking on the weekend.
You were chatting with Julie Holtzberger Friday. She was nervous too.
Yeah, and then but I am glad, obviously, Melville heard about the draw. It's I think we have obviously our makeup game for Hale on Friday, then we verse Freo this weekend, so that will be huge either way. That will kind of, I think, swing it, and then we have Lions as our last game, which is obviously difficult.
Yes, that's a tough one. Fremantle Coburn will have Wasps, but may fall behind if they lose to you on the weekend. So we'll dissect it more over for next week's show, but YMCC UWA is massive, and then Reds and Fremantle Coburn playing each other, which will shape effectively the last round and give us a clearer picture. We go to the Jackie Pereira leading goal scorer, and Maddie Radcliffe, of course, who's been leading all year, 29 goals, but she's not scored for the last 4 games. Now Delphina Guastavino, or Maria Delphi, as she is affectionately known, is now on 23 goals after hitting 5 on the weekend. So she's going to give. I'm fairly certain Maddie will be okay and should run out the winner, but there is a little bit of competition now, so that's going to be fascinating. Games for the weekend besides the Reds Freo game, the other games to look out for. To be fair, that's probably the game of the weekend.
Yeah, I would say so. I think whoever wins out of us and Freo, like YM, if they keep winning, our game's kind of irrelevant, but I'm going to assume YM lose their next 2 games. That Freo game, pretty much, if we win, then we potentially are in finals, unless, it's a difficult one.
It's going to be tight. This newly created 6th position is causing all the ruckus. Let's go over to the men's side of the competition. Now, I highlighted this result. Modsol Guildford defeating North Coast Raiders 4-1. And unfortunately, that's going to likely leave North Coast Raiders without a win this season. So hopefully there's some upside for Len Fernandez' group with being able to blood a lot of players. The other game on Friday night which is the one we called in Matt Fisher's 200th game for UWA. They were way too strong for Vic Park. 8-1 the winners, Chris Borza with a hat-trick, and they were his first 3 goals of the season. So fascinatingly, Chris decided to flick some corners and, flicked 3 goals. So the rest of the weekend saw Brodie Foster hat-trick defeat Wasps 4-2. YMCC drew with Wolves in a top of the table match, thanks to Aaron Kleinschmidt scoring in the 59th minute. Fremantle, Coburn and Melville had an absolute shootout, 7-5. Fremantle Coburn had 7 individual goal scorers, which is an unbelievable game of hockey, and one for the spectators for sure. The last game was Whitford's being defeated by Hale 8-1 and Liam Flynn hitting a hat-trick. So let's have a look at what that does to the ladder. YMCC are now 4 points clear on top with 49 points. UWA now move into second position on goal difference. They're on 45 with Wolves, but have a superior 10-goal difference. Or 10-goal advantage. Hale and Fremantle Coburn are now both on 43. Again, the goal advantage to Hale in that scenario. And then we come to 6th. Now, this is even closer than the girls. So Reds and Melville. So Reds are currently in 6th, and that is because they have scored 1 more goal than Melville. They're both 10 wins, 1 draw, 9 losses. Their goal difference is identical, but Melville have conceded less goals and scored less. Reds have scored more and conceded more. So the fact that they've scored more goals means they go on top of Melville, which is ridiculous. If it comes down to that at the end of the year,
you'll be distraught. But interesting. They both have Modsol Guildford in their last 2 games, and they're both top 4 team in Hale for Melville and Freo for Reds. So it really will be, you have to win against Modsol Guildford, and then whoever can win take points off of Hale or Freo.
I agree. I think it could be a win and a loss for each, and I feel it's going to come down to goal difference. Like, I probably have Melville shaping up better against Hale than Fremantle Coburn, than Reds and Fremantle Coburn. But stranger things have happened. So that's going to be a fascinating watch for 6th position in the men's side of the competition. We go to the Eric Pearce leading goal scorer, and even though Liam Flynn hit a hat-trick, Cooper Burns hit goals as well. So he's still 5 goals clear of Liam Flynn in top position. Games to watch out for in the men this weekend. Let's have a look. I think UWA YMCC, massive. Again, another top of the table clash for YMCC, but no better run into finals. And I think Reds and Fremantle Coburn, for men and women, there's going to be a cracking.
Their next 2 weeks is probably important. I would like to highlight Liam Flynn is still in Perth. So
yes. What are you doing? Liam.
Did you not listen to the podcast?
He's going for this weekend, surely. Surely he's going for this weekend. Going for the business end of the World Cup, isn't he? Expecting the girls to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a league, Jane.
Yes. This
found.
week I have brought to light. I'll be bringing to light the Division 5 men. They're obviously in round 17 weekend just gone. On Saturday the 15th at 2:30 p.m. we had Raiders taking on YMCC at Arena Joondalup. Raiders coming out with the 3-1 victory there. Then later that afternoon at 4 p.m. we had Southern River versus Newman down at Toro Engineering Stadium, and Southern River took that out 3-0. And then 4 p.m. also at Guildford Grammar we had Mods Old Guildford taking on Vic Park, and Vic Park came out on top there 3-0. And then 6:30 p.m. on a Saturday night, which is a lovely time slot, at UWA Super Turf we had UWA taking on Wasps, and UWA men's 5s took it out 5-2 to Wasps men's 4s, so that's a great victory there for them. And then Sunday at 12:30 we had Curtin taking on Reds at PHS, and the Reds men's 4s took that out 5-0. So pretty, I guess, varied results over the weekend for them. And we'll have a quick look at the ladder for the men's Division 5 with Vic Park on top on 38, Southern River on 35, UWA men's 5s on 34, Wasps men's 4s on 30, and Reds men's 4s in 5th place on 29. But I assume with a 10-team competition they'll go top 4. So really the fight out for that 4th position between Wasps on 30 and Reds on 29, I assume in the next round will be very important.
Well, I want to say this is the last round.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So huge weekend.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Let's actually have a look at who both teams have for this fixture, if it will let me load it. Let's see who they have this weekend. So Reds have Raiders, so that could be a potentially good win for them, and Wasps have Curtin, so who Reds just beat 5-0. So it'll potentially, may just fall in Wasps' favour.
Oh, interesting one to watch in the 5 men. Love it. If you want to talk about want us to talk about your grade or talk about your finals coming up, there is certainly finals on the horizon. Let us know. We're happy to chat about the finals coming up. Maybe we'll pick a couple of grades next week or after the final rounds of the season or final round of the season, so we can highlight some finals. Any other anecdotes, any other major milestones, let us know. We'd love to give it a shout out on the pod. Because there's plenty of cool things going on in community hockey, and we love to bring it to light on the podcast. All right, Jane, great opportunity now to just dissect a little bit of the Hockeyroos and Kookaburra's first matches, but also other things happening in the World Cup over, well, effectively round 1 of the competition. The Hockeyroos' first game of the tournament dominated really against Japan. It was 2-0, 2 really good flicks from Claire Colwell, as we mentioned. But Japan, from the stats I could see from the live hockey site, they didn't even enter the circle. So complete dominance by the Hockeyroos.
Yeah, I think it was only the only downfall for the Hockeyroos was that they didn't score and ended up 0-0. But yeah, I thought they played really well. I think there was signs of like some really confident and decisive play making for the Hockeyroos, and I think you saw glimpses of it throughout Pro League. And so yeah, I think they've come into the tournament probably just close to their peak, and so hopefully that kind of continues to grow. Obviously Netherlands, their next match is going to be a hard one, and you just kind of have to get through it, and then Chile will be their game breaker, I think.
I think it's the goal difference is going to become interesting, and I think we've mentioned that the whole time, because Chile only lost 2-0 to Netherlands. So the fact that they weren't hammered or had a big score put on against them bode fairly well for them until, as of maybe an hour ago, where they lost 3-0 to Japan. So
and that's what I was a bit scared about. I was like, oh, they could just defend their house down like they were against the Dutch, and we don't score. But yeah, obviously Japan found a way. So
it puts the Hockeyroos in a really good spot now.
Yeah, it does.
Because Japan have beaten Chile, and they're not having to worry, even if they lose to the Netherlands, that they're not having to worry about beating Chile. Like they're effectively, they can take a little less pressure off. They still will have to beat them. But I guess the worry is if Chile defended so well against the Dutch, maybe they didn't had a different tactic against Japan because they felt they could win the game, so they were more attacking. But you think that they're going to be more defensive against the Hockeyroos. So I worry a little bit because we have seen in the lead up to the World Cup that goal scoring isn't the strongest from the Hockeyroos, field goal scoring anyway. But it's great to see that Claire Colwell has started flicking some goals, and we'll get some confidence out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about the boys. Now, it looked great at halftime. They were flying. I think I might have said it when we dissected their team, but Joel Rintala is a really important flicker for them just because of his technique, his ability to be able to wrap when he flicks, gives him a bit more power. But I just think he's a really key weapon for them. Great to see Blake back as well, flicking a goal straight through the runner too. So two people that haven't played much international hockey this year on the scoreboard. However, that second half was, I didn't even know how you would explain it.
Well, I didn't know if maybe they became a bit complacent, and naturally when you're leading with that scoreline, you I don't know, take a bit of your foot off the gas. But like the turnovers that were happening out of defence and kind of trying to dribble through players rather than pass, that was the biggest issue I was seeing time and time again that was popping up through that second half. And not did I think they were ever going to lose the match, but obviously you don't want those types of habits sneaking into your performances later on. And is it a fatigue thing? Because obviously we saw their game, the final match in Pro League against Belgium, 4 or 5-0 at halftime, and then losing the match. And so it doesn't bode well for, I guess, their mentality going into games and being up at halftime and still being able to lose matches. So, yeah.
That fourth quarter, looking at the stats provided, Ireland had 12 circle penetrations to 2, 3 penalty corners, and obviously the goal. And it was, well, thanks really to Ash Thomas, who made some unreal saves. One, obviously, right at the end, which would have gotten Ireland to 3-2 with about 2 minutes to go. And that was really heart-in-the-mouth type stuff. But, they can't afford to do that against any other teams. Ireland's probably, let's say, a lower ranked team. They're not lowest ranked in the group, but if they do that against Spain, who they play Tuesday evening, they will turn it over, or they will get run up against, and life will be hard, really. Spain had a pretty comfortable victory over South Africa, so you imagine the Kookaburras should beat South Africa. Just looking at the last 5 meetings between Australia and Spain, Spain beat them in they beat them in February 2025 in the Pro League. They had a 1-1 in that Pro League as well. Australia have beaten them on the last 2 occasions. So you're right. I think it's just depending on what Kookaburra's team turns up. And a 4-quarter performance, I suppose. So that's probably the most important. Anything else that's caught your eye through this competition so far, in results or any other capacity?
I think in the women's side, it's probably more how close the results have been. I think going in, if you were looking at social media, a lot of the predictions were saying how great China were going to be because Alison Annan's at the helm and this and that, and then obviously Belgium as well. But there hasn't been comprehensive victories so far other than, like you could say, England against South Africa, but yeah, I probably wouldn't call that. But like, it's been a lot of a close competition compared to what I thought it would be, with a lot of those top versus bottom teams. In the men's side, yeah, I think interesting with how close like a Belgium and France scoreline was. I do rate France quite highly. I think they've been really building since the Paris Olympics. Even going in, they put a lot of time and funding into their men's hockey program, and so I do wonder if there'll be a sneaky chance in that pool and give like a bit of an upset. But yeah,
I've just seen the Argentinian women drawing with USA. So
yes, exactly.
Dave Passmore, of course.
They always struggle, I think, Argentina against USA, because obviously they play the Pan Am games and have a lot of games against them. And USA are a very fit team and very kind of traditional hockey type structures. So yeah, very happy for Dave, obviously. He's a friend of the podcast.
Friend of the pod, he certainly is. The only other one is the China-India draw. And I think we've talked a lot about this, because that's the pool that the Hockey Roos group pool will join with. Of course, England, India and China are in that pool. So I think it's going to be almost sort of pull it out of the hat as to who does finish 1 and 2 in that group. China aren't convincing. India have been good. And I feel they probably will go and finish in the top 2. You would think China are too good against England, but you just never know. So, and then, of course, the Belgium-France score, Belgium obviously getting just over the line, but that's, again, the pool that the Kookaburras will join with. So that Germany and Belgium are actually 2:30 tomorrow morning. If you and all are up and want to catch that game, that'll be an absolute belter, that one. But I guess the only thing I was going to ask what you thought about the video umpires system so far. Do you think, from what you've seen, it's been...
Well, they're not really showing. Well, from the games I've watched, they didn't show the replay on the screen when we were watching in terms of what the video umpire was looking at. So that's interesting. I wonder if they took that down because they were making wrong decisions. But yeah, there's been a few times where they yeah, but it's good because you can hear them talking through the process and asking for different angles, and then clearly struggling to get an angle that would allow them to make a decision. So having that insight, I think, shows the fans, oh, okay, it's a technological issue here, rather than necessarily them not being able to make a decision or make the wrong decision. So I haven't seen too many issues.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on it, because notoriously there is one, and it's notoriously a howler. So let's hope for no howlers. And if they are, they're in a game that doesn't matter.
Yeah, they just don't put Rachel Williams in that situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last thing was that for me, watching the men and women's Belgium and Netherlands games, they just know how to do hockey, don't they?
I know, and I've got following a few friends on Instagram that are in the Belgium side of things, and even off the off-field, like obviously the on-field antics and the almost soccer-like atmosphere they're creating for the games is crazy. But like there's a whole festival happening around the pitch, and all of the off-field activities that fans can engage in. Definitely Belgium is doing it very, very well from what I've seen from the behind-the-scenes side of things.
Well, hopefully it's a blueprint that once the hockey centre with multiple turfs is built here, we can use as to have a World Cup here again in Perth for both men and women. So it'll be super exciting if we can do that. But yeah, just watching it, you're just like, this would be just unreal to play in front of. Like, it's such a wonderful atmosphere, and doesn't matter what time the games are, they are rocking up to support their nation, which I just love. So good luck to the Hockeyroos earlier tomorrow morning, because they're going to have that atmosphere against the Dutch, which is going to be fantastic for them. We will keep an eye on the Hockey World Cup, as I'm sure you all are as well. If you have anything you found or you want to share with us, please do so. We're more than happy to look at it and chat about it. As we wrap up today's episode, Jane, so thank you for joining again online this time. But thank you to all the questions we got sent through, and of course, you can check the Hockey WA Instagram or social media for all things happening in WA. We'll be back again next week. We should hopefully be back in person to chat, and we'll try and get a special guest on as well to chat their thoughts on the Hockeyroos and Kookaburras. But thank you again. We always enjoy Monday evenings chatting hockey with you.
Yep, of course, and my dinner's nearly ready. So it's been great to be sitting in my front office and walk out and get dinner.
Perfect. Well, thank you for tuning in. We will chat to you next week on the Hockey Hour.